Hello, and welcome back to another Hearthstone deck spotlight. My name is Tommy Wave, and today we have another deck from Fluxflashor. We covered another one of their decks earlier in the week. They've been putting up a lot of really strong decks lately. This one, I think they mentioned, had a 60-something% win rate, 64% win rate over 56 games, which is a pretty good sample size. Not sure what rank they were playing at, but Odd Hunt is a deck that we've played a couple of times before, but we haven't played a list like this. I think this is the most kind of cutthroat, vicious version of this list, and it's understandable that it has such a high win rate, because this deck is no holds barred. We've got, as we look at the curve, 15 1-drops and 13 3-drops, with just the Leroy and the Baku sitting outside of those 2 mana costs. So this is extremely low to the ground. You know I love playing aggressive decks. You know I love my 1-drops. So this is right up my alley. In terms of those 1-drops, we've got Acris Veteran, Diamol, Firefly, and Glacial Shard for the minions. So only really missing, I guess, Argent Squire from the neutral side. Or, like, you know, some lists playing Jeweled Macaw to get a bit of extra gas, some lists playing the other two on the Raptor Hatchling. It's not so imperative that we have more beasts, because we can't play Crackling Razormaw. I think we just want the most aggressive options, and I think these are the aggressive options. Other than that, we have Candle Shot being a great way for us to compete on board early. We've got Hunter's Mark that combines very well with Candle Shot as an out to big creatures, big taunts, things like Mountain Giant or Twilight Drakes that we're pretty scared of out of the Even Warlock, and other big taunts like Tar Creepers and this kind of stuff. So that's very good. Interesting that it's only one of. I have seen some lists with 2, but we'll keep that in mind. We've got Arcane Shot as also a way for us to compete on the board early, and a little bit of extra reach, which can be pretty important in a deck that has a 3 damage hero power. Speaking of, if you haven't seen any of the Odd Hunter videos that we've done, or you haven't seen the archetype before, it is based around Baku the Moon Eater, which is going to upgrade our hero power. We can only play odd cost cards, and the upgraded Hunter hero power does 3 damage instead of 2, so I only got to ping them 10 times and they are dead if they don't have anything else. So moving on from the 1s into the 3s, we've kind of got the who's who of Hunter 3-drops. We've got Animal Companion, we've got the Eaglehorn Bow, we've got Kill Command and Unleash the Hounds. We've also got a 1 of Ironbeak Owl in here as the silence. Obviously we don't get to play Spellbreaker because we're on odds, so Ironbeak Owl fulfills that role quite well. Just the 1 of in here, which I think is okay. I think we probably want two silence effects in aggressive decks where a lot of our damage is going to be minion based, but because a lot of our minions are 1 and 3 drops, we're going to be we're probably going to lose a lot of our board before we even draw a second Spellbreaker or a second silence effect. So that's interesting. We see a couple of lists out there will play a 1 of Kill Command, or Deadly Shot rather, in this slot, or in addition to the Ironbeak Owl. So that's another thing we want to keep in mind of, is if we want another silence or removal effect, and if, you know, Deadly Shot, Ironbeak Owl, or Hunter's Mark is the right choice. We've also got Blackwalled Pixie in here. Blackwalled Pixie, though it is a 3-drop, it's more of a 7-drop, where that's the turn we want to play it on. So we can hero power Blackwalled Pixie hero power, and that's 6 damage, plus we develop a 3/4 body. But in a pinch, in a mythical scenario where for some reason we didn't draw another 3-drop or some 1-drops to play, we can play the Pixie on turn 3. So the only card in here that I'm most curious about is the Duskhaven Hunter. It's not a card that I've actually played with before, so I'm not going to doubt the card too much, because I want to play with it first. It's the 2/5 that Worgen, so it swaps its attack and power, its attack and health every turn. And ideally we want to play this as a 3 with 5 attack. So 5 attack with stealth, our opponent can't interact with it usually, and then we can bash in for 5 damage with without being interrupted, which is obviously pretty strong for this kind of list. So a card that we want to pay attention to, and we do want to compare it to other cards in the 3-drop slot, like Bear Shark, like Vicious Fledgling, these kinds of things. Even thinking about Tar Creeper or something like that, or because we don't actually have any taunts in this list other than Animal Companion being a third of a taunt, I guess. And right at the end, Leroy being some more reach for the list. So we're going to jump into some games, and hopefully we can get some W's. Alright. First match here, up against the Mage. Firefly is probably pretty good here. I don't think we want tracking in our opener, because we're probably going to try and use tracking to find things like Kill Command in the late game, or Leroy, these kinds of cards. And Blackbolt Pixie is essentially our worst 3-drop, so we'll send that back and try to improve the card quality of our hand. Oof, we didn't do a very good job at it. Hunter, Odd Hunter. Another option in that 3-drop slot is Wolf Rider instead of the flippy 2/5.
None will survive.
So I think this might be one of those ones where we hero power on 2. Ooh, Mana Worm. I like seeing Mana Worm. I think Tempo Mage is probably a pretty good matchup for us, especially with this kind of opener.
It's time for a little blood.
Okay. Krogan. Hey Tommy, been enjoying your budget deck series and the Pauper tournament you did. Thanks, I really appreciate that. That Pauper tournament was an absolute blast. I was unfortunate that we got knocked out in the first round, but it was so fun to play. Hoping that Neri puts another one on soon, or we even might. I might consider putting one of my own on, just like a little 4-player bracket or something like that. Also give me a bit more practice on the commentary side of things, which is something I'm really enthused about. But thanks, I really appreciate that. Definitely going to keep the budget content coming. Probably looking at more other people's decks rather than creating my own. I like just having that kind of set of 9 decks. But I'd definitely consider revisiting some of the archetypes. You know, if there was a good reason to. We're getting frostbolted. I think we're just going to keep the hero powers going here. Like, we could set up an Eaglehorn bow. But, yeah, just we got to make sure that we're trying to keep the damage coming. But I don't think I'd fault anyone for going for Eagle Horn Bow, Flame Elemental there. I so wish Hearthstone did more formats. I hate the stale meta and the Hive Mind decks. I definitely agree with the more formats thing. It maybe not like, you know, always, like don't go out of their way to, instead of having standard and wild, have, you know, 5 different formats. I think that often splits the player base too much. It's kind of unfortunate that what is this then? Explosive runes? I think so. Caverns of Time was really interesting because for arena players, it freshened things up, and it only needed to do a little bit to really freshen up the format. Unfortunately, it doesn't really do anything for constructed players. Like I myself, I don't play too much arena, so for constructed players, we really are hitting that time of the season where there's just not a lot of innovation going on, because we've kind of, the format's not exactly solved, but it's very well figured out. The meta will always keep evolving, but I think if there was like a supported Pauper format, that would be amazing. Or yeah, something like that. Like a way to augment standard or wild. Even like even if there was just a more casual format. Like, think of all the really enjoyable tavern brawls that there have been. You know, like what is it, the one where you could only play even cost creatures and odd cost spells? Like that stuff. Like, even if every so often they were just like, hey, this is open for the next week or 2. You know, go for it. I'd like something that maybe rotated like the Brawl every 1 or 2 weeks. Tinker Brawl or something. Yeah, like that's a phenomenal idea. I totally. Where did our weapon go? What happened to our weapon? Oh, right. We didn't play the Eagle, but I was getting ahead of myself. And they didn't play a secret. So they still have counterspell. Well, you may as well trigger it. Oh, sorry, they still have explosive runes, rather. Sure. In case we draw another 3-drop. Oh, sorry, another 1-drop. We can 1-drop Leroy, get around the explosive runes. But yeah, I totally agree. Like something that'll just like freshen things up, or give people something different to focus on. And then, you know, 2 weeks pass, you come back to standard or wild or something, and maybe, you know, you can come back at it with a different view. Or maybe the meta has shifted whilst you haven't been paying attention, and so it's all, you've got that nice new feeling again.
I wonder.
I feel like being creative in Hearthstone is an exercise in futility when I'm not a genius. Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I think, got the win. Nice. Odd Hunter doing its thing. Alright, Hunter Mirror. Let's see if it is an Odd Hunter Mirror. So I think everyone wants to aspire to be, you know, have their deck be performing well, be a good deck. But unfortunately, especially with Magic, and Hearthstone has the same thing where it's you and your one mind against hundreds, thousands, millions of players out there who are almost working as a collective, you know. One person comes up with an idea, and then another person takes that idea and iterates on it. Then someone takes that idea and iterates on it. You know, you have these pro players out there, these people who can play hours and hours a day, and they can take each other's ideas and iterate on those. And these are really intelligent players. So, guess we want to get this thing out. These are really intelligent players, and unfortunately, the reality is that you, as one person, and particularly for a lot of new players, you can't compete with that level of knowledge. And then a lot of people end up getting disheartened because, you know, they bring their sweet dragon deck to the Friday tournament, and they get smashed. They get monster punched. So yeah, what you probably would enjoy potentially. I don't want to try and assess you too much, Krogan. But what you might enjoy is playing a game, a card game that has, or any game really, that has a lower population. Games like some of the LCGs out there, particularly some of the cooperative ones, or even just some of the digital card games out there, don't have the wealth of players. What are they trying to do here? They're trying to set up a flanking strike or a Rexar or something. I kind of don't want to play this Flame Elemental in case they have the doggos. So I think I'm just going to go Candle Shot Hero Power. But yeah, like I have really fond memories of playing a lot of Doomtown, which was an LCG with a really low population, and you know, there's no big prize pools or anything like that, so there's not a lot of incentive for me to get a bunch of people around and develop the best deck, the sickest list. Can we find lethal here? Unleash represents 4. Unleash. Arcane Shot this. Arcane Shot this. Unleash. Attack. Here we have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Two.
Speak your peace.
So, I don't know if we could get that, but yeah, there were no big tournaments or anything like that, so there's no incentive for people to do that. And you actually got, and it may be speaking to the balance of the game, maybe, but you know, I'm sure if there are millions of people playing it, we'd figure everything out. But that was a really enjoyable game to brew in. I played German Highlander and Commander. What's a German Highlander? We have Australian Highlander, and I'm aware of Canadian Highlander. How does German Highlander work? Got him. Alright, up against the Shaman. This is a really interesting one. Do we keep the Acris Veteran? Hmm. I think we do. I think we do. German Highland, it's just a set of banned cards. So are we talking, so it's still Singleton, of course, because it's Highlander. 100 card deck, okay. Okay. So that's one difference from Australian Highlander, is the Australian Highlander is just a 60 card deck. So you don't have like a points list or anything like that, it's just banned cards, like the vintage banned list kind of thing. This is an odd selection of cards. Because it's like reach, board control, and our tech. It's kind of one of the disadvantages of tracking in the early game is we don't have the information that we'd prefer, that we'd really want to have. I'll take the kill command.
Speak your peace.
Yes, so no points list, just a ban list. Interesting. I'm not German, by the way. It's just popular ban list for Singleton tournaments in France. Ah, okay. Is there no? I know. I think in France, Dual Commander is quite popular. Is yeah, I think it's even called French Dual Commander. It's interesting that that the German ban lists, or the German format's quite popular. How long can it go on? They did coin that out. So, kind of sensing a bit of weakness here. So, gonna make a bit of a gamble here. I'm gonna try and push through some face damage. Just that coin maybe tells us that they don't have a card like Volcano or something like that. Oh, wow. Let's see where they fall. Two. Oof. Okay, we got quite lucky there, and this is obviously a fantastic draw. Can we just kill them very soon? 3. I mean, keeping in mind that they can play Healing Rain. Do we have a reason to leave this up? It's technically if we drew another Eaglehorn Bow, it's more damage to play Eaglehorn Bow and kill command. Could be bad if they have another another chain gang. In my play group, we've invented 2v2 that's actually balanced and not busted like Two-Headed Giant. So does it differ from Two-Headed Giant, or is it? Are you saying that it's like a Two-Headed Giant format that's actually quite balanced? Is this beast? It is. Got him. Super duper strong. Alright, so that's 3 games for the list. So let's take a look at it. Honestly, the the deck was perfect. I think it's probably a deck that we'll learn more from losing games than we will from winning games. Many of those games were pretty one-sided. The Duskhaven Hunter, the game that we played it in, was phenomenal. It was absolutely amazing. I think if we were to play this deck more, we'd probably need to be more aware of the nuances with the card, you know, keeping it on the play on the coin versus keeping it not on the coin, and that type of stuff. Like the best way to kind of space it out to make sure we're always playing it as the 5 attack version. Didn't really see any of the glacial shards, so it's hard to say, you know, comparing that versus Argent Squire or any of the other 1-drops. And yeah, the games never really went long enough for us to determine if we needed more, to determine that we did need more late game. Like, honestly, we were killing people so quickly that I think it's perfect to keep this setup of lots and lots of low drops. So yeah, if you have any thoughts about this deck, definitely let me know. Have you been playing a version of Odd Hunter that you think might be a bit better or doing something a little bit different? You can let me know in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube. And obviously the link to Fluxflashor's deck in Hearthstone will be down there as well. Give that deck a big old thumbs up if you like it, or leave some constructive criticism in the comments if you've got any changes that you'd make. What do you think of the Duskhaven Hunter? Let them know. But yeah, other than that, if you got a deck that you want me to check out, hit me up on Twitter at Tommy_wave, and all the other social links are down the bottom there. So until next time, have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.